Some stories don't start with a mistake. They start with good intentions. And that's what makes them dangerous. Because when everything falls apart later, people don't remember what you meant to do. They only remember how it ended. This is one of those stories. Hello everyone, my name is Ryan and I will be your narrator for our story today. It was submitted by one of our listeners, and if you haven't followed us already, please click that like, follow and subscribe buttons below. It will surely help our channel a lot and allow us to bring more favorite stories to you. I'm Jake. I'm 28 years old. I'm a software engineer, and most days I work from home. Remote jobs, quiet mornings, long afternoons staring at code while the sun drifts across my office floor. I've been blessed with a decent income. More than decent, honestly. Enough to buy a house before 30. Enough to stop renting. Enough to finally build something that felt solid in a world that usually isn't. I didn't just buy a house. I built a home. I decorated it myself. Every room intentional. Clean lines. Warm lighting. Outside. I planted a garden, flowers along the fence, herbs by the kitchen window, grass I actually cared about. And in the backyard, tucked behind an old oak tree, I built a small tree house. Not for kids. Not because anyone asked. I built it because it made me happy. It reminded me of being young, of climbing too high, of having a place that felt like it existed just for you. By summer, the neighborhood kids noticed. At first it was just a couple of them. Then more. They'd wander over, shoes kicked off without asking. They'd climb into the treehouse and laugh and talk about nothing important. I didn't mind. I worked from my home office, windows facing the yard. I could see them while I answered emails and fixed bugs. Sometimes I'd step outside, throw something on the grill. Hot dogs. Fries. Free food. Nothing fancy. Just being a cool dude. That label stuck longer than I realized. Last month, everything changed. I was in the middle of a call when I heard screaming. Not laughing. Not playing. Real screaming, the kind that makes your stomach drop. I ran outside. One of the kids was on the ground, gripping his leg, crying hard enough to shake. His ankle was twisted wrong. Really wrong. He'd been horsing around, climbing higher than usual, and slipped. It happened fast. An ambulance came. Neighbors gathered. Parents rushed in. Then his mom arrived. She didn't run to her son first. She ran to me. She screamed at me right there in my yard. Said I was irresponsible. Said I was supposed to be the adult. Said I should have been watching them. Said this was my fault. I stood there stunned, trying to explain that I was working inside, that the kids came on their own, that I wasn't supervising, none of it mattered. Once blame picks a target, it doesn't let go. That night, after the yard emptied and the ambulance lights disappeared, I sat alone on my back steps. The treehouse stood there in the dark, quiet and harmless looking. And that's when it hit me. If something worse happened, no one would remember the hot dogs. No one would remember the kindness. They'd remember the injury. They'd remember my name. So I made a decision. The next day, when the kids showed up again, I stopped them. Told them they couldn't play here anymore. Told them to go home. Told them their parents needed to watch them themselves. Some of them looked confused. One of them asked, "Did we do something wrong?" I told him no. but the question stuck with me. The yard went quiet after that. Then the mom started coming. At first it was complaints, passive comments, then full-on confrontations. They said they used to have more time during the day when their kids played at my place. Time to rest. Time to breathe. I told them the truth. I'm not running a daycare. I'm not a babysitter. I didn't sign up for this. That's when they called me an asshole. One mom was angrier than all the rest. She's a single mom. Works night shifts. Always looks exhausted, like sleep is something she remembers instead of something she gets. She came to my door and told me life was already hard enough. Said she was barely holding it together. Asked if I could just let her kids play here again, and keep an eye on them while she slept. Just a little help. Just until she woke up. For a moment, I almost said yes. I could see how close she was to breaking. But then I remembered the screaming. The accusations. The way kindness turned into blame overnight. I told her no. I said it wasn't my responsibility. And yeah, I said something I probably shouldn't have. I told her to ask their deadbeat dad. She didn't just yell. She screamed at me for almost 10 minutes, then walked away, angrily. After that, the story spread fast. Now I'm the villain. The rich guy who won't help. The neighbor who turned his back on a struggling mother. My backyard stayed empty. The treehouse untouched. The grill cold. Weeks passed. Then one afternoon, I got a letter. Certified mail. Inside was a notice from a lawyer. Not threatening me. Warning me. Apparently, the kid who broke his ankle. His parents had talked to an attorney. They were considering legal action. They'd been told they might not win, but they could still sue. They could still drag me through months of stress, illegal fees, and reputation damage. The reason? Because I had created an attractive nuisance. Because I had allowed kids to gather there before. Because I had provided food. Because I had been the adult presence. I sat there staring at that letter for a long time. Thinking about how close I came. Thinking about how if I'd said yes to that exhausted mom. If one more kid had fallen. If one more ankle snapped. I wouldn't just be the neighborhood asshole. I'd be bankrupt. A few days later, I saw that single mom again. She didn't say anything to me. She just crossed the street when she saw me coming. And for the first time since all this started, I didn't feel angry. I felt tired. Now my backyard is quiet. The treehouse stands empty. Sometimes, when the wind moves through the leaves just right, I swear I can still hear laughter that isn't there anymore. I never agreed to be responsible for other people's kids. I never caused the accident. But I did open my space. And once you do that, people expect you to keep it open forever. So now I'm left with the question that won't leave me alone. Am I the bad guy? Because sometimes doing the responsible thing looks heartless. And sometimes kindness is only remembered until it becomes inconvenient. That's the part no one tells you. And that's a wrap for us today, everyone. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe for more. This is Ryan checking out. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.